Are VTuber agencies done for? I'm your brother from another mother, Evil Aniki, and today that is what we're talking about. If you didn't hear the news, on Monday this week, ironmouse announced that she is leaving vshojo. This comes after, I believe, Zentreya and a few others have left vshojo earlier this year, and it's just been an exodus from vshojo since the launch. Not to say that there hasn't been a lot of people not rejoining, but joining vshojo. A lot of people have joined vshojo over the years, and especially they're continuing to join. Vshojo is still very popular, but I'm curious to see how this will affect their image. This is sort of like a trend we're seeing in the VTuber community, especially with these giant corporations just sort of like sticking their foot in their mouths and just like ruining their companies. We saw earlier this year we had Hololive. Uh, Gargura left Hololive, and she was saying it was difference between her and the staff or something like that, and who knows what that is exactly all about. But she's already launched. She's got her new Saba, and she's out there doing all the collabs and being able to do more things that she wants to do. But this is very interesting. And also last year we had the Niji Sanji drama. I talked a little bit about that in my Anime Expo, uh, Dark Side of Anime Expo last year in 2024, where the Niji Sanji booth actually had to have security around it. Because that was around the time. I don't remember. I think it was like someone had said that like people were abusing them in Niji Sanji and they were covering up. And since then, Niji Sanji has really kind of taken a nosedive here in the states. They've been promoting them a little bit less and less. Most of the Niji Sanji stuff that gets promoted here in the United States tends to be for the male VTubers. I will say I did see that there's going to be some Niji Sanji stuff going on at Anime Impulse Bay Area. It seems like they're trying to maybe push some more stuff out there, but we'll see how that goes. But this is definitely interesting. We're starting to see cracks in these giant VTuber corporation agency monoliths of the industry, such as Niji Sanji, Hololive, and vshojo, all of which are the biggest companies around, right? Like vshojo might not be as big as Niji Sanji or Hololive, but they are definitely up there in popularity and definitely in collaborations here in the north and in the Western Hemisphere. They're definitely very popular here. Hololive is very popular here, but also Hololive and Niji Sanji way more popular in Asia. And it's interesting to see that this is happening. I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I think this is sort of mirroring what happened with MCNs back on here on YouTube back in the day, where which were kind of like VTuber agencies, to be honestly. It's like you have a bunch of YouTubers get together, and the idea is that like you have a company sort of manage you all and give you guidance on how to operate, but also ideally going out there and getting you better ads for your channel, and so they could get you a higher ad revenue and maybe better sponsorships and better opportunities and better networking. That a lot of that didn't happen, and I will say I feel like that is also true for a lot of VTuber agencies. A lot of smaller, so I wouldn't say I have my own VTuber agency, but I did like a VTuber support group slash clipping channel called Small Ones, and I operated that for a long time, and I haven't really been posting on there in a long time, but I do have a lot of indie VTuber friends, and I do know quite a bit about the VTuber community. So this is uh, interesting to me. A lot of the smaller, groups in a lot of the smaller independent VTuber agencies, a lot of them are just bands of friends, or they're rallying around something specific. Sometimes it's like a merch store that they're rallying around. Sometimes it's about just a group of friends. Sometimes it's around a theme, and sometimes it's just a good way to like meet new people. And I will say it's kind of the average thing nowadays where you see VTubers hopping from agency to agency. It's no longer uh, a VTuber sticking with one agency. They will, be with an agency for a couple years and then they'll move to a new agency. And I shouldn't say an agency as well. Sometimes they're just groups. Sometimes they're just, collaboration groups. And the way I would describe that is like like Hermitcraft. Like it's like a server, right? Like so, and if anyone who knows what Hermitcraft is, it's like a bunch of Minecrafters who have like a Minecraft server together, and you can see a lot of that with like a lot of VTubers doing that. That maybe they'll have like a Minecraft server, or they'll play Fortnite together, or they'll do specific games together, or collaboration games together, and that's sort of uh, like a just a gaming group for content, right? And not to say that they aren't friends. I'm sure they are friends, or try to be friends for the most part. And that's the difficult thing with a lot of these agencies, is that a lot of the even when I was running my very active in my VTuber support group, it was very difficult to organize and coordinate uh, collaborations between people who were in different time zones. A lot of people would get time zones confused. It was also difficult. Some people are a lot more introverted than others. Some people do great doing solo streams, and some people just don't do great doing solo streams. And it was a very mixed bag of people doing different things. And sometimes it's like, this VTuber over here, they're really good. They do a lot of Minecraft content, but they don't really want to play Apex or Fortnite. And that's sort of where, that's kind of like, it's an interesting divide. VTubers are people too, right? Like I shouldn't say people too, but they're like content creators, YouTubers as well, right? So like they have like their specialities, right? So sometimes it's like, over here this YouTuber is mainly like a Minecraft YouTuber, or over here this YouTuber is mainly a funny meme haha Fortnite guy, right? And you sort of see the same divide in the VTuber community, especially on the indie level. You don't see it so much on the upper side of VTuber agencies. A lot of the upper, the larger agencies, you see them playing a lot of like the big games, and they'll just do sort of whatever's popular and whatever their friends are doing. So sometimes they'll go from like Fortnite to Apex to playing like, I don't know, what's a big game. Uh, I don't know, whatever big games are coming out, they'll usually be playing, right? And that sort of just is the trend. But this is interesting that we're starting to see this big crack in these, larger VTuber agencies, which are really kind of monoliths in the industry, right? Like we don't really have many medium-sized agencies for VTubers, and I feel like there was some really well-known medium-sized agencies, but they sort of have like cut like they're. I feel like there's a lot of cut coming on. Like a lot of people are not going out and getting actual jobs. The economy's kind of not in the best spot, and so I think a lot of people are turning away from streaming to getting actual jobs or working for other people, and it's just an interesting spot to see the industry in. Now, what do I think this does for VShojo? I think for VShojo, this hurts them a lot. I was already going through some of their Twitter comments and looking at some of their staff. Their upper, that like their CEO has a Twitter page, and I was just going through some of like the replies on that, and it's not very positive. People are a little bit mad. People hold ironmouse very, very dear to their hearts, so this is a very traumatic thing for a lot of VShojo fans, because especially I feel like um, I feel like the majority of people who probably are, VShojo fans are probably Ironmouse fans. I feel like Ironmouse is probably the big fish in that pond, right? So most people who probably like, for instance, let me pull up the website right here. So I have the VShojo website right here, and it's like, you have all of these different VTubers, but it's like, out of everyone who watches them, I guarantee you most of them probably know who VShojo is, or not VShojo, know who Ironmouse is. But like not everyone who watches Ironmouse might know who all of like everyone else is. I'm sure that they do a lot of collaborations together, and they do a lot of content together, but it's also very it's interesting. I'm curious to see what will happen. Like if we'll see like a decline in all of the VShojo numbers, if people will start using this as a reason to leave VShojo, if like what this will actually do to VShojo as a company. I'm very curious. Uh, it's something that I'm curious to see, because I feel like a lot of people, how do I say, a lot like when something bad happens to one member of a group, especially when you're collaborating like that on such a daily level, like with like VTuber agencies, a lot of them are like they're playing four-player games every day with each other, almost, and it's just like, oh, if this person's leaving, then maybe I should leave, and I mean, it's part of it's like a contracts, but like some of them might not care about their contracts, because uh, you know it's such a weird situation, right? Like sometimes they might just want out. They just might want to get out, and this is interesting. I'm curious to see what will happen with any scheduled events going on in the future. I do believe VShojo as a company was probably trying to keep this under wraps and not have this blow up in their faces. And this is definitely not the best time to announce this. It's not like Normally, when you see like a VTuber announcement saying, "Hey, I'm graduating," or "Hey, I'm leaving this agency," it's usually closer to the first of the month. And right now, as I'm recording this, this is on Monday, so I'm reacting to this news a day of, and it's interesting to see that this is happening. Uh, so so late into the month because not like when Gura announced that she was graduating Hololive, she did it probably around the same time, but then she'd already like launched like by like the next month. I shouldn't say by the next month. Maybe like a month later, but she like had announced that her last stream would be on the first. And ironmouse didn't really even do that in her video. She just sort of said that she's leaving vshojo, and she didn't really say that, like she didn't really give a date of like I'm leaving vshojo by this date. She just said she's leaving. In fact, we can take a look at the video here on YouTube. I'm not going to play the video. In fact, let me mute that so it doesn't come up. But yeah, here we can react to it. And this is a very bare bones video here, so it's not even a background. It's just her in front of a black screen. Very very dramatic. Got the support from Sea Dog, Abroad in Japan, Baby No Money, Michi, Shy Lily. A lot of people here supporting. Leaving kind comments, and a lot of likes. Let's give that a like. That's almost a 1/6 uh, of her views on this video have liked this video. That's wild. That's a very high ratio. And if we go to like all of her videos, this is a highly viewed video as well. As you can see here, she normally has like certain streams that do a little bit better. I shouldn't say streams, certain videos that do a little bit better. But this one definitely getting a lot more traction than anything she's been posting lately. In fact, let's see. This is a 600,000. Let's see if we can find anything that's above 500,000 and how long ago that was. Um, dooch, 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 dooch. Nothing so far. This is pretty. We're almost a month out. I'm not seeing anything. We've had a few above 100,000, but mostly she's kind of like in that like 50,000 range, more like 30,000, kind of range. Um, 3 months out, not finding anything with that kind of traction yet. That's kind of wild. Uh, Drama sells, guys. That's why people do. Uh, Here we go. Here is Iron Mouse performs her new song at the Streamer Awards 7 months ago. This was the last time she had a video get that many views, and her video today is probably on track to pass that. That's kind of crazy, and I say this is probably the best thing for her channel as well. So posting this directly to YouTube as opposed to posting this on like Twitter or wherever, because as a YouTube video, people, there will be ad revenue, and she said she's donating the ad revenue from that video to the Deficiency Foundation, which is super great of her. But also, this is going to get her a lot of traction on her channel, and it's going to definitely help her in the long run as well. I'm not going to look up like subscriber stats because that's just kind of silly at this point. She's already a very large creator, and yeah, just very interesting to see that this is happening. I do think we're going to start seeing a lot of agencies sort of go under in the next couple years. I shouldn't say next couple years, and no, like next year, year and a half. I think we'll start seeing like a lot of cracks in a lot of agencies and a lot of VTubers going independent. And I'm not gonna say this is the end of VTuber agencies. I think VTuber agencies will come back. I feel like this is all just a circular, big circle, type of the world goes round type of deal, right? So we'll probably see more agencies pop up, new agencies pop up. And I do feel like we're starting to see that, like with conventions, with anime conventions in general, we're starting to see a lot of new VTuber events start popping up. In fact, I can pull up some of those as well here in LA. And in fact, I've been going to like a few events, and it's just like there's so many more VTubers that are just popping up. They're up and coming in the community space and taking over which would have normally been probably filled with people. We'll just look at it. We'll look at this. And this is just some recent, some new events that are coming out here in LA. So here in LA, we have this group called VTuber Fan Events. I think they're mainly LA. They might be all around, but they do specifically events in Little Tokyo a lot of the time. And they have a new event coming up, and they've got some VTubers here, and they've been working with some of these VTubers for a while. But yeah, this is crazy. Like they're like, I think we're starting to see a breakdown of like big VTuber, like a lot of smaller VTubers are getting deals with local events in their area, and that's sort of working for them better. And I'm not sure that all of them are local to LA, but I'm sure they probably are, uh, at least for most part. I'm just speculating, but like look here, we don't need that audio. Um, Here's another event that they had. This was just no, this is still going on. I think this is going on as I'm recording this. June. No, this was last month. Never mind. But here's a whole bunch of I don't even know any of these VTubers, which is absolutely wild. And we're just starting to see new VTubers popping up. In fact, let's go to let's look up what Anime Impulse and see who they're collaborating with. I'm sure they have some new VTubers here as well. Let's see. I have no idea who that is. Yeah. So here we go. Uh, who are these with? Are these Niji Sanji? I don't know. Uh, Probably, maybe. Independent female English speaker. Okay, yeah. So even larger events like here's another one. Are these all? Doesn't say Niji Sanji, so I assume a lot of these might be independent. I have no idea. But it looks like we're starting to see a lot of like I think these have to be Niji Sanji, right? They've got the fancy logos. They gotta be, right? We're starting to see a lot more independent VTubers. What is First Stage? I've never heard of First Stage. First Stage, uh, is this First Stage production? Okay, so yeah, look, we're starting to see a new this is a whole like I've not heard of this agency before, but like new agencies are popping up with new talents, and it's just going to be the future. And I don't even know if they're necessarily new. It's just new marketing, if that sense. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this whole situation down in the comments below. This is really shocking for me. I think this is really shocking for a lot of people who are in the community, because a lot of people are vshojo fans and vshojo stands, and I think this is really going to hit them really hard. Uh, yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm going to leave that there. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.